Hey everyone, Chris Kim here. In today's video, we are going to create our first fungible asset on the Aptos blockchain. As always, if you want to follow along with this video, head over to aptos.dev, our developer portal, and you can watch this video and follow along and launch your first fungible asset as well. All right, let's get started. So I'm here at aptos.dev. I'm gonna head over to the beginner guide and select your first fungible asset. So to my knowledge, until recently, Aptos used this coin module for all types of fungible assets, fungible coins on the Aptos blockchain. But recently, they made a protocol update and created a new standard called fungible asset. The reason why they made this change from coin module to the FA standard is because, well, they first wanted a standardized way for assets to be represented on chain. So all types of dApps, when they are working with fungible assets, they are working with the same standard, right? Everyone understands that all coins on Aptos have the same types of functions and how the metadata is represented on chain. And that makes it more composable and cross-functional among various applications. On top of that, fungible assets utilizes move objects to allow more customization, to be able to add more utilities to these fungible assets natively. So basically, TLDR, assets on chain on Aptos has become more powerful and flexible and composable. And now that we know what fungible assets are, let's go through this guide and create our first fungible asset. All right, this tutorial will teach you how to create your own fungible asset named FA Coin. The fungible asset standard provides built-in support for minting, transferring, burning, and tracking account balances, so it's useful for representing fungible assets. We'll use the TypeScript SDK to deploy the contract and test it once it is on chain. Okay? At a high level, the fungible asset standard works through two main objects. A metadata object to store information about the fungible asset. That's probably going to be storing names and supply, stuff like that. Fungible stores for each account that has the fungible asset to track their current account balance. I see. So this is the object that keeps track of the balance of each account that holds this fungible asset. Sending a fungible asset to someone will cause them to receive a fungible store and update the balances in both accounts accordingly. Cool. All right, seeing fungible assets in action. Here we will modify, deploy, and test the example FA coin contract to see how the fungible asset standard works. If you're writing your own fungible asset contract, you may also want to reference the stablecoin example contract here. Let's just ignore that for now. Okay, okay, that's probably needs an update. All right, I'll note that down. I'm assuming it wants me to install the TypeScript SDK because that's what we're going to be using to deploy and publish the FA coin contract. All right, I'll note that down and make that update. Clone the TypeScript SDK repo. This repo contains the fungible asset example code. All right, so we will clone the SDK repo. All right, I'll do that. Come over to my terminal, paste that in. Cool. And I will go into that folder. Nice. All right, now we get to the top level of the clone repository. I did that. Install the SDK's dependencies. All right, I'll do that with pnpm install. Now, if you have just npm installed, then you can just use npm to install the dependencies. All right, cool, that's done. Now, build the TypeScript SDK. The example requires a local build of the TypeScript SDK. All right, I will do that. pnpm build. All right, that's done. Okay, open facoin.move in an editor. All right, let's head over to a terminal. Open this in VS Code. Oh, do I not have that set? Really? I thought I did. Okay, well, I'll just open it manually. Why are you doing this to me? Oh, my computer decided to not work. All right, let's open the TypeScript SDK in our cursor IDE. Sir, I believe this works. Oops. I can't spell. There we go. Perfect. Make that bigger for you guys. All right, we have it open. You can find the fa-coin.move at examples, TypeScript move, fa-coin sources. Okay, let's go to examples. Was it TypeScript move, fa-coin sources, fa-coin.move. There we go. Cool. This is the move file, which contains the bulk of the contract logic. We will dive into the details of how this contract works after showing you an example of it in action. All right, that sounds good. Edit the asset name to be the name of your new fungible asset. Example tutorial coin, the value you set here will show up in the deployed contract and when we are testing how things work. Okay, where is this asset name? Symbol, where is it? I don't see it. It's asset name. Yeah, it's not there. So, yeah, this is also an issue with this guide. Maybe this contract got updated and the guide is kind of outdated. So I'll also make a note of this and make sure it's changed. But basically it's saying to change the name. So we can find the part, here we go, inside the init module function. This is probably the name that is being set here. So I will change that to, I don't know, what should we change it to? What's a good name? I don't know. Yeah, I really shouldn't be thinking this long about this. All right, let's name it Blue Whale Coin. I don't know. I like whales. One day I hope I can become one. And all right, asset symbol would be BWC. All right, I'll do that. Cool. All right, now that's over with. Let's continue on with this guide. Blue whale coin. All right, we're creating a blue whale coin. All right, navigate to examples / TypeScript. Okay. Let's open up my terminal here. Go to examples, TypeScript. Nice. Install the dependencies for the examples. I guess I need to install again within this directory. Yes, this has an invalid value. Okay, ignoring broken log file. Okay. Log file is not compatible. test has an invalid value. Okay. Am I in the right directory? Whoops. I think so. Wonder what the problem is. Install. Okay. Let's ask cursor. What is this error? I need to log in. All right, let me just quickly do that. All right, I am in. All right, what is this error? PM dependency resolution error. Okay. The test package has an invalid peer dependency. Okay, let me try that. Go to TypeScript package.json. Peer dependency. Okay, I'll try that. Now let's clean up the log file. Yep, clean up the log file for me. Let's try pm install again. Nice, that works. Okay, so that also needs to be addressed. So I will note that down and make sure this guide is updated. Cool. All right, I think we are all set to run the example script. So let's go and copy this code to run my fungible asset file. Which file is that? Your fungible asset, which is, where is it? your fungible asset. There we go. Okay, so this is the script that we are running. All right, let's run the code first, and let's kind of dive into the code to see what's actually happening. All right, let's copy that in. Run your fungible asset. Beautiful. All right, it seems like everything worked. Let's go back to the guide to see what's happening. You just see an output demonstrating how the fungible assets are created and transferred that looks like this. Yep, that is exactly what I got. All right. The rest is understanding the FA coin move example. Okay, so this is going over the move module of the FA coin. But before I do that, I kind of want to understand what the script is doing. So let's kind of come back here and see what's happening. All right, so we are importing in a bunch of stuff from the TypeScript SDK. So let's see what's happening. This example demonstrates how one can compile, deploy, and mint its own fungible asset. It uses the FA coin move module that can be found in the move folder. Before running this example, we should compile the package locally. Acquire the Aptos CLI. I did that. Cool. Okay, that's what I did. All right, set up the client. Okay, so we are setting up the Aptos client here. We're getting the Aptos network using this network to network name. So we are probably setting this to devnet if we don't have the network set up in our .env file, which is probably the case. So this is set to devnet, and we are creating the config and then passing that config into this Aptos class to create the instance of the Aptos client. Great. All right, admin forcefully transfers a newly created coin to the specified receiver address. Okay, we have this function called transfer coin, takes an admin from to address and the amount. All right, so await aptos.transaction.build. So we are using the Aptos client to build a simple transaction where the sender is the admin account. And we're calling the function facoin transfer. I see. And we're using the admin.account address because this facoin is being deployed by the admin account. And the function argument from to and amount. All right, and then we sign the transaction using transaction.send, sign, and then we submit the transaction. Got it. So that's the transfer coin function. Now we have this mint coin function. This is where the admin mint the newly created coin to the specified receiver address. Okay. So we're using the Aptos client to build a simple transaction where we're calling the mint function on the facoin module and providing this argument and signing and sending the transaction. Okay. So all of these are probably just interacting with the facoin module. The burn coin is calling the burn function. Freeze is calling the freeze account function. Unfreeze. Okay, so there's an unfreeze account function as well. All right, so here we have something new here. Get FA balance. So this, we're passing in the owner and the asset type. We're using the Aptos client to call get current fungible asset balance. I see. And this take in a bunch of stuff, options, where owner address is the account owner.account address. Okay, what is this underscore EQ? All right, input maybe. All right, so we're specifying the owner address and the asset type is the asset type that we pass in over here. Okay. Pagination args and where arg. Okay. Interesting. Pagination and filtering, list of fungible assets. Okay. I'll have to kind of look at what all of these mean, like where and EQ and pagination arguments, but this seems to be how you can query the balance of the current fungible asset. Cool. And the return type data, we have to access the 0 index and get the amount. If that doesn't exist, then that means this account doesn't hold this fungible asset. All right. Get metadata. Return the address of the managed fungible asset that's created when this module is deployed. All right. So for this one, we have this payload, which is input view function data. I see. So these are the function that we're calling. And then we're using the Aptos client to view, what is this? Query for a move view function. I see. So that's how you call view functions that are defined inside of move modules. Cool. And you pass in the payload. And in this scenario, we have separately created the payload here and just passed in that property over here. Cool. All right. All right, main function. Okay, so far we've looked at all of the functions that are defined, and now we have the actual script of calling these functions. All right, so this main function is creating 3 Aptos accounts, Alice, Bob, and Charlie, using account.generate. Then we are console logging the account address of these 3 addresses. So where is that happening? Okay, right here. Cool. Then we are funding Alice with 100 million octets, so that's 1 APT. And we're also funding Bob with 1 APT. Then we are compiling FACoin package manually. We're using this compile package function that I believe we've imported from the utils folder. Okay. This is just a convenience function to compile the package locally with the CLI. Okay, so we have a utility function here if I want to compile it with code, but usually you could just compile with the Aptos CLI by doing Aptos move compile, I believe. All right, back to the main function. Okay, so we are compiling the FACoin module using facoin.json. I'm assuming that is the ABI. Let's see. Where are you? Move FACoin. Okay. Going to move facoin.json. Yep, it's the API of the module. Got it. Nice. Let's continue. After we compile it using Alice, get package bytes to publish. So you get the bytecode here. And then to publish the package, we pass in the deployer account, the metadata bytes that we got over here, the bytecode, and then we sign and submit the transaction using the Aptos client. Got it. Okay, and then we wait for transaction. Okay, so that's how you publish move modules with the TS SDK. Got it. All right, then we're calling the get metadata function that we defined above to get the metadata from the Alice account. And we're getting the metadata address. And what was this doing again? Come back here. Yeah, metadata of the fungible asset or the account. I'll have to look at the move module to know for sure. Got it. And then we're console logging a bunch of stuff. All the balances in this example refer to balance in primary fungible stores of each account. I see. Okay, so the metadata address is the address of the FACoin object. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Then we're calling the get FA balance function that we defined above to get the FACoin balance of Alice, Bob, and Charlie. And let's see that in the terminal. Okay, so all 3 accounts currently have 0 balance of the FACoin that we created. Well, it would be the blue whale coin that we created. Alice mints Charlie 100 coins. So Alice is the admin account here. So Alice has created the blue whale coin, right? And currently the blue whale coin is not minted. So none of the coins are in the market and supplied to the world. So right here, Alice is minting new 100 coins to Charlie, and we call the mint coin function here. And that function was basically just calling the mint coin function inside of the move module using the TypeScript SDK. Okay, cool. So we got the pending transaction and we paste that in to wait for transaction to make sure that the transaction gets executed. And then we console log the balance of Charlie, and we should be getting 100. Yep, Alice mints Charlie 100 coin. Charlie's updated FA coin. Okay, it's currently 0 Interesting. That might be because, yeah, it might have to do with like the timing. Like when this was being console logged, the ledger might not have been updated yet, but that should have said 100 coin. Let me try waiting a couple seconds before console logging that then. Let's see. Here, bring it over here. Okay. Let's see if that works. Waiting 2 seconds. Boom, there we go. Yep. Charlie's updated Ethicoin primary fungible store balance is 100. Yeah. So it needed that extra couple seconds to update the balance, basically. All right. So now that I've confirmed that, let's continue. All right, now we have Alice freezing Bob's account. So Alice calls the freeze function that we defined above, wait for transaction. Then Alice, as the admin, forcefully transfers the newly minted coins of Charlie to Bob, ignoring that Bob's account is frozen. Ah, I see. So as an admin, the admin has the ability to forcefully transfer coins using the transfer function, even when it's frozen. So this is a really nice feature to have, especially for regulated assets, because freeze and clawback feature is a required feature to have for regulated assets. So it's nice to see that Aptos has this feature built in. All right, so we're calling the transfer coin function here, and we are transferring 100, all of the coin that Charlie owns. And we are sending that to Bob. I see. So Alice is forcefully transferring the 100 blue whale coin from Charlie to Bob. And we're going to console log Bob's updated FA coin. I wonder if I have to wait 2 seconds here as well. Bob's updated FA coin 100. Oh, okay, that works. So Bob got 100 and Charlie's should be 0. Okay. Alice unfreezes Bob's account. Okay, so we call the unfreeze function. That's simple. Alice burns 50 coins from Bob. Ah, right. So Alice can also burn coins owned by other accounts as an admin. So we call the burn coin function and we burn it. And the updated Bob's balance should be 50. Bob's updated is still 100. Okay, so let's try waiting 2 seconds again over here. Probably don't even need 2 seconds, but just to be sure, let's do that. There we go. Interesting. Now they're all 0 again. I'm a bit confused here. Alice mints, where are we? That should have been 100. Okay. I'll have to ask the engineers what's happening here, because the balance should be updated promptly. And it seems like it's being inconsistent at the moment. Or maybe I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. All right. I will ask the engineers and find out for you guys. I mean, Bob's updated FA coin balance 50 is showing up properly here, but the balances above are still 0. So, okay. It is what it is for now, but I will investigate. What's happening next? Bob transfers 10 coins to Alice as the owner. I see. So until now, it was Alice as admin doing all these activities on behalf of all of these accounts, right? So that's when you have to call the move functions that are defined inside of the FA coin module. But when Bob, as the owner of Blue Whale Coin, wants to transfer 10 coin to Alice, they're just using the Aptos client and calling the transfer fungible asset method here, and just directly sending the asset. I see. That makes a lot of sense. That's really nice. Okay, so sender is Bob. Fungible asset metadata address, we got that above, so that's how we do that. So the metadata address is the address of the object of the metadata of the FA coin, and that's the unique identifier of your fungible asset. I see. Just like fungible tokens, like ERC20 tokens on Ethereum has the smart contract address as a unique identifier. Got it. All right, recipient, Alice, and we're sending 10 Blue Whale coin. Cool. and then we sign and submit, and we wait for transaction. And we get the FA coin balance of Alice and Bob. Oh, you know what's happening here? It's because I didn't do await on the set timeout. That's why. That's why it was all over the place. Okay, let me find all the set timeouts. Do await here, save, and let's see if it properly works now. Still a bit weird. Alice mints Charlie 100 coin. Wait for transaction. Charlie's. It's weird because the end after 2 seconds is showing up after these console logs. So I'm doing something wrong here. Okay, I did some investigating and I was just being stupid. So the set timeout doesn't return a promise, so await doesn't work there. So I had to use a different TypeScript function called delay to actually await, which returns a promise. So I am delaying the script by 2 seconds. So now everything should work properly. So let's run the script again. It's waiting 2 seconds. Yep, Charlie's updated FA coin is 100. Oh, what's happening now? Oh no, I got the IP rate limit exceeded. So I need to get the build API key. Okay, so I ran the script way too many times. So I hit the rate limit, and if I want to get higher rates, then I need to create an API key on Aptos build, but I'm too lazy to do that right now, so I won't do that. But you guys get the gist here. The script is showing you how you can use the TypeScript SDK to create utility functions that interact with your move modules, and it really showcases what FA coins are capable of, right? It creates a whole admin feature where it lets the admin to forcefully transfer, to freeze, unfreeze, and burn tokens, and also mint tokens. And I assume that all of these features, like the forceful transfer and the freeze, can be disabled by not defining the move functions inside the move module if you want the coin to be completely transparent and open and decentralized, meaning there's no admin that can control the asset. Cool. All right, so we looked at the TypeScript SDK. We dived in a bit deeper than I expected, but I think it's good. It's a good learning experience. We found some things that needs to be improved on the guide side, and also maybe the script to wait and delay a couple seconds to make sure that the console logs are logging properly. So it was a good learning experience. Okay, let's go back to the guide, and now let's take a look at the facoin.move file to understand the facoin module. All right, the full contract, I can just find it over here. I believe it's this one right here. Cool, there we go. The facoin module. The move.toml file, let's go step by step through how this contract is written. Move.toml. The move.toml file allows Move to import dependencies to determine which addresses to use and includes metadata about the contract. Regardless of which features you add to the fungible asset, your move.toml will likely have similar fields to this at a minimum. In this case, we have the primary contract address facoin that needs specifying at deploy time, indicated by leaving the values as underscore. It also includes the GitHub dependency to import the fungible asset standard from Aptos framework. Right, so this is like the minimum requirement for the toml file. And let's see if let's take a look at the toml file over here. Yep, exactly the same. So by leaving the address facoin as underscore, it will just automatically detect who the publisher is, the account that sent the published transaction, and use that account address as the address to be put over here. Imports. The facoin module uses several important modules. Fungible asset contains the logic for granting permission to mint, transfer, burn, and create your fungible asset. That's this one right here. I see. Object allows for creating Aptos objects. Yep. Primary fungible store contains the logic to track account balances for the new fungible asset. Got it. So the fungible asset module is more for like minting, transferring, burning, permissions. Objects allows you to create object in this module, and the primary fungible store will create the fungible store object to keep the balance of the accounts that own this fungible asset. These imports are defined in the move.toml file as GitHub dependencies. Cool. All right, init module, let's take a look at this function. This function is called when the module is initially published in order to set up the proper permissions and objects. For FACoin, this is used to initialize the asset's metadata object, which contains things like the asset's name and symbol, as well as getting the relevant refs for how our fungible asset will be used. The manage fungible asset standard helps keep track of which permission this module is allowed to use. Got it. All right, let's take a look at this module here, function here. All right, so it takes in the admin signer. We're creating the object, a named object, where the name is the asset symbol, and we're getting the constructor ref for that object. Then we're calling this create primary store enabled fungible asset. I believe, if I remember correctly, this is the function that lets you create a fungible asset where if you transfer that fungible asset, the receiver automatically have a fungible store created for them. So it's a really nice function to use here to make the developer experience much better. Okay, so it takes in the constructor ref, option is none, and I see. So this is where you specify the metadata of the asset. So the asset name, symbol, 8, I believe is the decimal point. Let's come here. Do I have the move extension enabled? Oh, maybe I don't. If I had the move extension enabled, this would have shown like the details of this function, but I don't have it set up yet. But 8 is the decimal point. So this function has 8 decimal points. Got it. I mean, this asset. This is where we pass in the icon of the asset, like the logo, and the link for like the project of this, like the project link to this FACoin. Got it. And then let's just take a look at it over here. It's got example descriptions. Then we are creating a bunch of these refs to allow creator to manage the fungible asset. I see. So these are the permissions that you have the freedom to set as the admin of the coin, to give the admin permission to mint, burn, transfer these assets. So I assume that if you don't, for example, want this FACoin to have the transfer permission, where it lets the admin to transfer coins on behalf of these accounts that own the asset, you probably don't include this ref, and it would create a fungible asset that doesn't have the transfer ref permission. Cool. So we create these refs, then we create the signer of the object with the constructor ref, and then we call the move to function, where we're creating an object with this signer address, and we're creating this manage fungible asset struct that includes these 3 refs. And I believe, yep, we have the struct defined over here. And this is a struct that holds the refs to control the minting, transferring, and burning of fungible assets. Got it. Okay, so this init module is the first function that is called when you publish this FACoin module, and it will set up the metadata and set up the permissions for your coin. View functions. When creating your own fungible asset, it can be helpful to add view functions for any data that is needed later on. In this case, we wanted to see the name of the asset in order to report which asset was being traded in our example scenario. Interesting. Well, the script that we just ran didn't really call this function to get the name of the coin. It was just calling it FACoin because it was just hard-coded into the console log. So maybe that's something that I can also improve for this guide. Kind of go to that script and make sure it calls this get name function, view function, so that it knows that I am publishing a blue whale coin. But cool. So this FACoin module has both the get metadata function and the get name function. Entry functions. Every fungible asset has a similar interface: mint, transfer, burn, freeze, unfreeze, deposit, and withdraw. Here's an example of a minimal mint function, which mints and transfers the funds to the proper recipient. All right, let's find the mint function. Mint. Oh, there's so many mints. Okay, here we go. All right, the mint function. Mint as the owner of metadata object and deposit to a specific account. It takes in the admin, to, and amount. It acquires the managed fungible asset struct. So we're calling the get metadata function that we defined over here to get the asset metadata. And then we're calling this authorize borrow refs, which takes in the admin and the asset metadata to get the managed fungible asset. That seems to be the struct. So I guess this is how you get the managed fungible asset struct. You read it. Okay. Primary fungible store. Ensure primary store exists. So the receiver is checking if the receiver has the primary fungible store already created for them. Then we call fungible asset : mint. Is that? No, it's not from the import. What is that function then? Fungible asset : mint. I thought it would have to be imported over here. Oh, I see. Is that what it is? Oh, self. I see. So because we have the self here, we have access to this module by itself. Okay. So we're calling the mint function inside a fungible asset, and we're passing in the mint ref and the amount. I see. And then we're calling deposit with ref function, where we are using the transfer ref inside of the managed fungible asset struct, and we are depositing the minted coin to the wallet. Got it. Okay, cool. Summary. If you want to build your own fungible asset, you can use facoin.move as a starting point or look to other code examples here. All right, what kind of examples do we have? Oh, okay, a lot of stuff. Got it. Regardless, the fungible asset standard will help you mint, transfer, burn, and keep track of balances automatically for whichever fungible assets you want to represent on chain. You can find the move reference for fungible assets for more detail on the function signatures and implementation details. Got it. Okay, cool. So this guide was more so like explaining the facoin module and kind of going through the script to deploy the module there. But I kind of want to see my blue whale coin on the Aptos Explorer. I wonder if I can do that. Let's see. Let's run pm. Run the script again. Let's go back to the script. Does it give me the facoin address? I believe it did. Yep, metadata address over here. Cool. Let me copy that. Go to Aptos Explorer. Paste that in. Oh shoot, it's on mainnet. Okay, let's go to DevNet. Paste that in. Fungible asset. There we go. Got it. Yep, here we are. The blue whale coin. The icon is empty because we just had the example link there. But you can see that my blue whale coin got minted here on DevNet. Nice. Oh, does it also show holders? Ah, so we can see Alice, Bob, and Charlie here as well. Very cool. And look at the transactions. Nice. Okay, so that's it. I have successfully minted my first fungible asset on Aptos. Now, there were some hiccups along the way, partially due to the guide being a bit outdated and partially due to my lack of skills, for sure. But I was still able to do it. I will make sure I note down all of the things that should be updated to make this guide more seamless for you guys. But yeah, it seems pretty straightforward. The FA coin module is the new standard for all tokens on Aptos. And yeah, we just took a look at how to create one and also interact with it using our TypeScript SDK. So I hope this video helped you learn about the fungible asset on Aptos. I hope you liked the video. Let me know in the comments if you have any feedback about this video or the guide, what you want to see be improved so that I can make it better for you guys. But that being said, thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one.